Hello my friends, welcome to Keto in the Chaos. My name is Tammy. This video is a collaboration with two other keto YouTubers, and we're going to talk to you about the different ways people do keto and why we have chosen to do keto the way that we do it. I'm excited to talk about the different ways that people eat ketogenically, and I hope you enjoy this collaboration. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome! I'm so glad you're here. I hope that you'll find what you're looking for here at my channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get notified when I put up a new video. I have a lot of videos on keto and how I do it, and also my own personal journey with keto. So I hope that you will stick around and join our family. So when you're talking about eating a keto diet, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what keto actually means. So if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, keto is short for ketosis or ketogenic state, which is basically when you have taken away your carbohydrate fuel from your body and told your body that it's going to burn a different form of fuel. That fuel is in the form of ketones, which are created as a byproduct when your body burns fat. So that includes dietary fat and body fat. The most common keto diet that is out there is the medical form of keto that was created originally to help kids with epilepsy. People have used it to help with cancer and other things like that. Medical keto or standard keto is what most people talk about here on YouTube. And that is eating 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbohydrate in caloric density, basically in caloric percentages in your diet. That is considered to be a well-formulated keto diet is if you use a 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carbs ratio. So if you hear about ratios or percentages, that's what it's referring to. It's referring to if you take all the calories of what you ate and you divide it up, 75% of those calories came from dietary fat. There are other ways that you can get into ketosis that are not that way. And so that's where it gets confusing, because a lot of times when I tell people what I'm doing, they'll be like, oh, you're doing Atkins. Well, Atkins is keto. I know that that's hard for people to really wrap their brain around, but any diet that gets your body to go into a ketogenic state is considered to be keto diet. So it may not be the standard accepted keto diet, but it is still ketogenic inherently. So all those other diets out there, including Atkins, and you probably are starting to hear about the carnivore diet. It's becoming a lot more popular. There is a diet called PSMF, which is a protein-sparing modified fast. That is a crash diet, a super fast fat loss crash diet. It's also considered to be keto. So there are a lot of different types of keto diets out there. So how do you know which keto diet is right for you? Well, the only way you can know for sure is to learn about the different keto diets, try them, and see what works for you. Now me, I've never personally done the standard medical keto diet, so I have no idea if it would work for me or not, because I've actually never tried it. So I would like to say that I started with that and it didn't work for me, and so I moved to this other way, but that is not the case. I have actually been doing keto the way I do it from the very beginning, and just because that is what I found first and it worked for me, and so I kept going. I do have the two other girls that I'm collaborating with on this video. One of them, Teresa, she actually used the version of keto that I am doing and then moved to the standard keto and had more success on the standard keto way of eating than she did originally on the one that I am doing. Some people have a lot of success doing the way I do, and other people have a lot of success doing it the other way. There's no right way to eat ketogenically. As long as you are telling your body to burn fat, when your body has burned all of the dietary fat you have consumed, it will turn to body fat and it will burn it. And that is how it works to burn body fat more effectively than, say, just limiting your calories, because your body is already used to burning fat for fuel, and will just automatically turn to the fat on your body rather than it being this jarring thing where it tries to beg you for food, because when it runs out of glycogen, it's going to make you super hungry. So it's really hard to stay at a caloric deficit for a long period of time with eating when you're eating carbohydrate, because the body will beg you for carbohydrate when it runs out. Whereas if you don't consume as much dietary fat, your body won't beg you for more fat. It will just turn to your body fat for fuel, thus making it so you don't get hungry very often, and it feels a lot more stable and a lot more satiating than a caloric deficit on a standard American diet. I want to make sure you guys understand that being in a state of ketosis is the most important thing, because it convinces your body that body fat is an energy source. And so that's how come it works so well. Now, I'm going to talk about the way that I chose to do keto. The way I chose to do keto is very similar to Atkins. So Atkins was vilified because a lot of people didn't really understand keto flu and electrolytes and things like that. I have a lot of videos on electrolytes and how to avoid the keto flu. I'll try and link at least one of those right here. But basically the gist of it was a lot of people got sick on it because they didn't understand about supplementing electrolytes. Now that we understand all of that and the reasons behind it, you can stay in this Atkins zone forever. You never have to go out. So that was the thing about Atkins that was confusing, is when you got to a certain point, you would reintroduce carbs. And so it wasn't super successful, because for those who were severely obese and were obviously not processing carbs well, putting carbs back into the diet, it just ends up putting them back where they were. And that actually did happen to me. So 7 years ago, I lost 110 pounds doing a ketogenic diet. I didn't know that's what I was doing. A coach had me doing it, and he basically gave me just enough information to keep coming to him, and not so I could do it by myself. And I didn't really understand what ketosis was, or like anything about ketosis. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, and that's what was making it work. I thought it was the fancy shakes he was selling me and his coaching techniques and all of that. I didn't realize I could do it by myself. And so once he moved and I got pregnant, I ended up having 2 more babies and 2 miscarriages and a lot of overeating of carbs. I ended up gaining back the 110 that I lost plus 40 more, which was not good. It was awful. I was in a very desperate place when I found keto. And it was literally the answer to my prayers. It's what helped me to be able to get out of my depression and outside of myself and see myself from the outside and see what I needed to do in order to make myself healthy. And it just opened up my eyes, clarified my mind, everything. It just fixed everything that I needed to fix. So it was truly a miracle in my life, and I do believe that God led me to this miracle, and that's why I want to share it with everybody. All the information that I am teaching is available on the virtahealth.com blog, virtahealth.com, and also in the Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living by Drs. Finney and Volek, and also in New Atkins for a New You, which was, I believe, Finney, Volek, and Westman. I am just a mom. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a doctor. I am just sharing my experience with the keto diet and how I learned to do it. There are, like I said, many ways to do it, and a lot of people who are very successful doing it. So don't take anything that I'm offering you as pure medical advice. It's just my experience, and I'm just trying to teach you guys what I have learned in my study and explain it in a way that's easy to understand. My diet is macro-centric in that I have set macros for protein, fats, and carbs for myself that I try to meet or get close to every single day. So rather than using a percentage, I am using an actual gram number for each of those things. If I were to do my macros exactly perfectly, my caloric percentage would still be, my fats would still be higher than my proteins, even though in grams, the proteins are higher than the fats. And that's where it gets confusing. People think that I'm eating a high protein diet. Well, I am eating higher protein than a lot of people on YouTube. But while I'm eating higher protein, I wouldn't call it high at all. It's just adequate for muscle growth, retention, and replacement. That is basically what it is. It's what Dr. Finney recommends. So Dr. Finney recommends between 1.2 and 2 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass. And that is where I got my protein number from. I am 5'7". So for my average weight for a skinny person, for a thin person, a healthy person, I would be eating 120 grams of protein per day. So that is my macro number for my protein. For my fats, I want to keep my dietary fat a little bit lower than a lot of the other people doing medical keto, because I want to encourage my body to consume body fat. And that is why it works so well. Now, the brain and hormones need a certain amount of fat, dietary fat, in order to function well. Can they function on lower fat? Yes. But will you be cranky and ornery? Yes. So I try and keep my fats 50 or above, and I try and stay around 78 grams of fat for keeping that caloric deficit encourage my body to burn its own body fat. It has worked really, really well. I try and stay under 21 net carbs per day. I generally am lower than that, but that is the number that I have in my macros. So if I were to hit that perfectly, if I were to hit 120 grams of protein, 78 grams of fat, and 21 grams of carbs, the percentage would look like 55% fat, 39% protein, and 6% carbs. As you can see, my caloric ratio, my percentages are still higher in fat than protein, even though my macrograms, my proteins are higher. That is because with protein, you can actually get more bang for your buck than you can with fat. Proteins only have 4 calories per gram, whereas fat have 9. So you can see how you can consume a larger amount of protein and still stay in a caloric percentage that is lower. Basically, what I am doing is I'm raising the protein levels for several reasons. The number one reason is because I want to retain my lean mass, and that is the amount of protein that Dr. Finney says you need in order to retain, repair, and build lean mass. It's adequate protein for my average lean mass. Now, if I were to go get a DEXA scan, which I'm actually thinking about doing, I might end up lowering my protein number when I realize that I maybe don't have as much lean mass as maybe an average person. The only way you can really adjust your macros for your personal self is to do a scan or something like that where you can find out your actual body fat percentage. So the macros that I use are based on average. So I may or may not need as much protein as I'm consuming in order to retain my lean mass, but I'm erring on the side of caution. I'm probably on the higher side than I am on the lower side of protein in order for that to happen. The second reason is food volume. It is a lot easier to eat at a caloric deficit when you have a larger food volume. When I am eating 6 ounces of chicken breast, 2 ounces of cheese, and some vegetables, I am getting a large amount of food that's going to make me feel very satisfied. I think that is probably the highest reason that this way works for me, because I never feel deprived. Even though I'm eating at 1,300 calories or less, I do not feel deprived at all. In fact, I feel very satisfied and satiated at that level. People that are doing the standard keto actually use fats for satiety. And so they consume a lot more fat than they do their proteins, and the fats are what keeps them feeling satiated. The only problem with that is that dietary fat has 9 calories per gram. And so you don't get as much food bulk for your calories if you're trying to eat at a deficit as you do if you consume more protein. Now, some people are afraid of protein because they're afraid that it's going to turn into sugar in the blood. I will tell you not to be afraid of that. Number one reason is because the amount of protein that I recommend is not a high amount of protein. It is not a ridiculous amount of protein. It's an adequate amount. So it's not going to cause you any problems that way. Number two, gluconeogenesis is always happening in the body. Your body needs a certain amount of glycogen in order to function for your brain health or for your brain to function or whatever. And so it's always turning some of the protein that you eat, even if you're eating very little protein, if you're in a ketogenic state, it is always turning a certain amount of protein into glucose. Now, is there a level of protein that can affect your blood sugar levels and maybe cause a stall in weight loss? Yes, and Dr. Finney has an article about that over on his blog, but the amount of protein that I'm recommending is not that high amount. People say that I'm eating a high amount because I'm eating double what a lot of people are eating on keto, protein-wise. And that is just because that is what Dr. Finney recommends. If you want to try what I am doing and try using a protein-centric version of keto, don't forget to check out the description below because I have the link to my Facebook page. We have 4,000 members over there, a lot of great moderators that are very good at answering your questions. I have a getting started guide and it's all for free. If you are not a Facebook user, you can get a copy of my getting started guide by emailing me at ketochaos@gmail.com and I will send it to you for free, no questions asked. I hope that answered some of your questions about how people lose weight differently on keto. I have lost, as of today, 191 pounds in 2 years eating the way that I eat. So it is definitely working for me and I am definitely still going. I'm about 30 or 40 pounds out from my goalish weight. I don't really have a set goal weight, but I have gone down from a size 4X top to a size medium top. I have gone down from a size 32 pants to a size 10. So I am super excited about how well this has worked for me. I feel like I really have retained my lean mass because at 183 pounds, I really should be larger than I am. So I think I have a lot more lean mass than I did to begin with, and I feel quite slim for my weight. I want you to check out my two friends who are eating a different form of keto. They have also had amazing success eating the way that they eat, and I would love for you guys to go over and check out their videos. So the first one is Keto Diamond. She has been eating ketogenically for, wow, I don't even know, I think about a year and a half, and she's lost 116 pounds. And then we have Teresa. I think she's eaten ketogenically for about a year and she's lost 60, I believe. I hope I got that right. If I didn't, girls, I hope you'll forgive me, but don't forget to check out both of their channels. I will be linking them throughout this video, and I will be linking them in the end card. There will be links to the videos in the description, so don't forget to check out the other parts of this collaboration. So if you don't think that my way of doing keto is for you, maybe you want to go over there and find out more about what they're doing, and definitely subscribe to their channels because they have some really great content. Keto Diamond is really good at teaching, and she also does a video every single day, which is amazing. And Teresa, she also does daily videos most of the time, and she's just really inspiring, a very wonderful woman, just the sweetest thing on the planet. And I'm so excited to do a collaboration with them. I've been wanting to do more collaborations and I just haven't had the time. And I'm so glad that they kind of talked me into getting this done and given me the opportunity to do a collaboration with them. And I hope that you guys will take the time to support them and to check out their channels. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, please comment. I always try and answer any questions that I am asked either here or on my Facebook page. Don't forget to join us on our Facebook page for support and for more information on how you can get started on your own ketogenic journey. Thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with me and for making it through to the end of this video. You guys are rock stars. Welcome to the family if you're new here, and thank you for watching if you aren't already one of our family members. We love you all so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.